Hey everyone, I'm Amy, and I'm really glad you decided to spend a little time with me today. I found another Reddit story that I honestly couldn't stop thinking about after I finished reading it. At first, it sounded like a simple disagreement between a horseback riding instructor and an angry parent, but by the end, it turned into something I never saw coming. Before we jump into today's story, I have a little bonus for you. If you've been playing on CSGOFast or you've been thinking about trying it, don't forget to use the best CSGOFast promo code 2026. Just open CSGOFast, head over to the promo code section, and enter 100F. Using this CSGOFast promo code gives you a 10% deposit bonus, plus one free case that you can open immediately. So whether you've been reading a CSGOFast review, wondering if CSGOFast legit is worth checking out, or you just enjoy CSGO fast case opening, it's a great way to start with a little extra. You can also claim CSGOFast free cases, and if you happen to unbox something valuable, the CSGOFast withdrawal process is simple and fast. Now, let's get into today's story. According to the Reddit post, the author was a 25-year-old horseback riding instructor who worked at a local stable. Every Saturday morning, she taught beginner riding lessons for children between the ages of 6 and 8. Before any lesson began, she always went over the same 3 safety rules: never run around horses, never scream near them, and most importantly, never stand behind a horse. She explained that horses can become startled in a split second. Even the calmest horse can kick if it feels threatened, and a single kick can cause life-changing injuries. Normally, the children listened carefully. Their parents also helped make sure everyone followed the rules, except for one family. There was one 7-year-old boy who had been causing problems since his very first lesson. He constantly shouted over everyone else. He ran around the stable, he ignored instructions, and worst of all, his mother never corrected his behavior. After the first lesson, the instructor politely pulled her aside and explained that her son wasn't following basic safety rules. She simply asked the mother to help keep him calm during class. The mother didn't seem interested. The following week, nothing changed. The boy continued running around the horses, interrupting the lesson, and refusing to listen. Eventually, the instructor warned him that if he couldn't follow the safety rules, he wouldn't be allowed to ride. Instead of calming down, he threw a tantrum. His mother still did nothing. By the third lesson, the instructor admitted she was already nervous before class even started. She knew something was eventually going to go wrong. Unfortunately, she was right. During the lesson, one of the horses was standing quietly with its back turned toward the group. Without warning, the boy suddenly sprinted straight toward the horse. The instructor reacted instantly. She grabbed his arm and pulled him back just before he reached the animal. The boy immediately started crying. A second later, his mother rushed over and demanded to know why the instructor had grabbed her child. The instructor explained exactly what had happened. If the horse had been startled, her son could have been kicked. The mother wasn't interested in hearing any of it. Instead, she accused the instructor of overreacting and insisted her son had done nothing wrong. At that point, after weeks of trying to stay patient, the instructor finally snapped. She looked directly at the mother and said, "If your son gets seriously hurt because you refuse to control him, that's going to be on you." The stable went completely silent. The mother stared at her for a second, grabbed her son's hand, and stormed out without saying another word. The lesson continued, but several of the other parents quietly admitted they were relieved the family had left. Later that evening, though, one of the instructor's friends told her she'd gone too far. Maybe, she said, warning the mother had been reasonable, but saying it that directly was too harsh. The instructor wasn't sure what to think anymore, so she posted the entire story on Reddit, asking people if she'd crossed the line. At first, that seemed like the end of it. She had no idea things were about to become much, much worse. A couple of days later, the stable manager received a phone call from the boy's mother. She was furious. She demanded a full refund for every riding lesson her son had attended and insisted the instructor should be fired. Fortunately, the manager already knew exactly what had happened. She calmly explained that refunds weren't available under the stable's policy, something every parent agreed to before signing up. Then she added something the mother definitely wasn't expecting, because her son's behavior had repeatedly put himself, the horses, and the other children at risk. He would no longer be allowed to attend lessons at the stable. The mother completely lost her temper. She started shouting, throwing insults, and eventually hung up. After that, everything became quiet. For about 2 weeks, the instructor thought the entire situation was finally over. Then one morning, the staff arrived and discovered that every pony had escaped from its pasture. Thankfully, they hadn't wandered far. The animals were calmly grazing in a nearby wooded area, and after a bit of searching, everyone was safely brought back. At first, they assumed it had simply been bad luck. Maybe a section of the fence had broken. Maybe a wild animal had frightened the ponies during the night. They repaired the fencing and carried on with their work. But only a few days later, something even worse happened. Late one night, the instructor received an emergency phone call. One of the barns was on fire. She rushed to the stable as quickly as she could. Fortunately, the ponies weren't inside the building at the time. If they had been, the outcome could have been devastating. The fire was eventually put out, but it was obvious that someone had deliberately started it. The police were called. Security cameras were installed around the property. For the next week or so, nothing happened. Everyone slowly started believing it had been an isolated incident. Then came another morning no one at the stable will ever forget. Several horses had fresh cuts on their bodies. Someone had broken into the stable during the night and deliberately injured the animals. The staff immediately called the police again. This time, investigators reviewed the security camera footage. The instructor expected to see a random vandal, maybe some teenagers looking for trouble. Instead, she instantly recognized the man walking through the stable. It was the husband of the same woman she'd argued with just weeks earlier. According to the update, he had entered the stable during the night and attacked the horses. Police arrested him shortly afterward. The instructor said those few weeks had been some of the most exhausting of her life. Thankfully, the horses recovered, and none of the injuries turned out to be life-threatening. Looking back, she couldn't believe how quickly a disagreement over basic safety rules had escalated into a criminal investigation. Honestly, this story completely caught me off guard. At first, I thought it was simply about an instructor trying to keep children safe. I never expected it to end with arson, animal abuse, and an arrest. Personally, I don't think the instructor did anything wrong. Could she have chosen different words? Maybe. But when you're responsible for children's safety around large animals, there isn't much room for taking chances. One moment of carelessness can change someone's life forever. Now, I'm curious what you think. Do you believe the instructor crossed the line when she confronted the mother? Or do you think she simply said what needed to be said after repeatedly trying to handle the situation calmly? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And before you head out, here's one last reminder. If you're planning to play on CSGOFast, don't forget to use the promo code 100F. It'll give you a 10% deposit bonus along with one free case, so it's definitely worth claiming before you start playing. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate you being here. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again very soon.